Hello everybody, so today's video is going to be a college admissions reaction video. I graduated high school in 2019, so it's not the most recent pool, but it is the second most recent. Essentially, I'm going to try and find clips of when I got college decisions last year, but for the ones I don't, I'm just going to explain everywhere where I got into and didn't get into, and I wanted to explain this all because I have another video where I talk about why I got rejected by so many colleges, so I wanted you guys to have some context. I have a video of how I got into college in general if you want to check that out. That has all my statistics in it because I don't want to go into that in this video. I feel like it would become way too long, so yeah, let's get right into it. So one of the first schools I applied to was University of Portland. It's this private school in Oregon. I visited it. They gave me a scholarship, but even after a scholarship, I think it was more expensive than Davis. I think it was like $30,000 and Davis is like 20 something. And I mean, it was also far away. Travel is not necessarily included in that $30,000 cost. It was one of my safety schools. Most kids from my school actually get there, so it wasn't my ideal school. Also in terms of location, it wasn't somewhere where I knew a lot of people. Honestly, I didn't see myself going there. I went there and I found the campus to be kind of meh. I don't remember too much. I remember it was raining and I just didn't love the weather either. So that was part of the reason I didn't pick going there. I also applied to Rutgers. I got a free application waiver to apply to all three schools, and believe it or not, it would have actually been cheaper for me to go to Rutgers, but they also have 60,000 students. That was like the big reason I chose not to go there, was that there were so many students there. I felt like I would have a lot of problems getting into classes. Ironically, the school I go to has like 30 or 40,000 students, so we still have problems getting classes, but I can't imagine how much worse it would have been there. I really liked the options I had there, to be honest. Unfortunately, I started considering it as a school too late in the game. By that time, I had like kind of made up my mind on other things. I didn't do enough research on there. I just got an email saying I got like a free application waiver and I would like apply to all three schools, and I like that it gave me options. I kind of wish I considered it more seriously because of the scholarship they gave me. I would have saved money going there, but everyone always says, you know, you have to think about the value of the degree, and as much as I agree, I can't help thinking that it would have been cheaper for me to go there. And I still think people who get degree, like, I'm pretty sure Rutgers degrees are valued very highly. For example, apparently the philosophy department is really revered at Rutgers, but I don't know too much about that. Once again, didn't really do enough research and had kind of wished I really considered it. I was really considering the school toward the end of April, and yeah, I should have thought that one through a little bit more. It would have ended up being like on the very low end of $20,000, and that does save money. I also didn't really think about if I would like it / fit in there. It was kind of hard to consider those things, in my opinion. The next school I applied to was St. John's University. So for this school, I got basically a full ride there, so I would only have to pay for living expenses, which was about $10,000 a year. The main reason I chose against this school was its limited major options, and also it's super conservative. I had a friend who told me that she has a friend who went there, so mutual friends told me I could talk to her. So I talked to her and she said it was really conservative. It's actually in like a suburb, so even though it says New York City, it's not really like in the city. And I was like, okay, then maybe that's not like... The main reason I was considering going there is that I really wanted to live in New York. I liked the idea of living in the city, but then I found out it wasn't even in the city. So as someone who's very liberal, she was saying that everyone there is pretty conservative, you know, and I just felt like my beliefs didn't really align up with the school and the students. The next school I applied to was Cal Poly. I realized I haven't said if I got accepted or rejected. So far, I got accepted from all those schools. I'll tell you very explicitly if I got rejected or waitlisted. So next one I applied to was Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. This is an in-state school. I believe I got waitlisted here. I believed I applied for a bio major, and honestly, I got a C in AP Bio my sophomore year, so that probably had to do with that decision. I don't remember what happened to that, if I got off the waitlist. I wasn't really considering going there. I have a couple friends who went to San Luis Obispo and didn't really like it, and from their experiences I felt like I would feel the same. I also didn't like how far away it is from home. Not that I mind distance, but the distance wasn't worth the lack of variety of options they had. The reason I applied for a bio major was that was the closest to the major I wanted. I wanted something neurobio related, and that was the closest they had, so it didn't really specify the major I wanted, so that was the main reason I didn't go there. The next option was San Jose State. So my main thing here was this was a safety school. However, I didn't want to have to live from home, and honestly it wasn't cheaper than going to Davis, so I felt like I wasn't saving money by going here unless I lived at home, which I really didn't want to do. I really wanted a taste of freedom, and I didn't feel like it was worth living in the dorms when I lived so close to SJSU. Once again, they have less of the major options I was looking for. I believe I also had to apply for bio, so I wasn't really impressed with the major options. The next school I applied to was Columbia University. I got rejected. This was definitely a reach. Didn't have the grades, didn't have the SAT scores, did have the ACT scores, but definitely didn't have the extracurriculars. Like I said, I've mentioned in my podcast, and I'm going to mention this in an upcoming video where I talk about how I got rejected from colleges, and I wasn't unique. I didn't create any projects, I didn't do anything revolutionary, and I honestly feel like these top schools really want someone who's going to do something life-changing, change the world, create a project that is moving for 99% of students they accept. So, I didn't see myself getting in there, so it's okay. I got to visit there and I loved the campus, and I remember I initially didn't like it there because I went to this orientation and the guy who was speaking about the school was so bad during this tour. There was like a orientation get to know the school thing. Remember he was horrible, and my mom was like, I don't think you should judge the school based on this guy. I did a tour and it was amazing. It was fun. Yeah, I really liked the location. Living in New York is a dream of mine and I want to fulfill it someday, and going to Columbia was part of that dream, but I have other options. Columbia has a lot of grad programs. I do need to work hard for my undergrad, but I do have options to live there. The next school I applied to was the University of Pennsylvania, also another Ivy League, also definitely a reach school. I got rejected, and no surprise for me. I love the campus. My mom was like, I don't want you to go there. It's like an unsafe location, and it's kind of funny because she used to live near there. Like, my family is from Pennsylvania. I was born there, and I was really considering going there. I liked how it was central to both like New York, so you can go up and visit stuff, and DC, you can go down. They have really efficient Amtraks and things, so that idea really appealed to me. Unfortunately, it didn't get to happen, but it is what it is. I'm genuinely hoping that I have a good shot at applying to some of their grad programs though, because they have some solid grad programs. The next school I applied to was Purdue, and I got in there, and I can't remember my original major for the life of me, but I got in there. I got a partial scholarship. So for in-state students, because Purdue's in Indiana, their in-state tuition is like $11,000. Out-of-state students is like $55,000, and after my partial scholarship, it was like $35,000. Still more expensive than Davis, and more expensive than some of my other in-state options, so it didn't make sense. I visited and I loved it, and that was my original choice because I had gotten waitlisted at Davis, but in the end, the cost and the inconveniences of having to move out there, traveling, only being able to visit my family like twice a year just didn't make sense. I do remember my major was engineering. Wasn't that content on being an engineer, so I was planning on switching to something else, but I wasn't sure. So the next school I got into was UC Riverside. This was located in SoCal. I did also visit this school. I liked it it's one of the newer UCs, which is why it's potentially easier to get into. I got into their honors college, which was really exciting, but I don't know what it was. I just came out and I was contemplating between going here or Purdue, and yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel like my main reason for wanting to go to Riverside was their 7-year med program, and in the end, I realized I didn't really know if I wanted to do medicine 100%, and I was like, I'm not going to put all my eggs in the Riverside basket then, The next school I got into was UC Merced, and I applied for engineering here. I applied super last minute. There was an extension because of, I believe, fires or some kind of sort of natural disaster. And so my mom was like, you should apply there, and I applied there. But I mean, like I said, I wasn't that content on engineering, so it wasn't a high option. I also didn't really like the location. Merced is literally the middle of nowhere, and people say that about Davis. I'm just gonna say that. However, I don't think it's as in the middle of nowhere as people think it is, especially compared to Merced, because Merced just has a ton of farmland around. Davis is actually fairly close to, it has a lot of stuff in there, and it's fairly close to Sacramento and a ton of other small towns, and Vacaville's huge. Like, I don't think it's as isolated as people think it is, but Merced, I felt like it was very isolated, and I didn't actually visit their campus. I just kind of looked online and did my own research, and it wasn't something I was interested in. The next school I applied to was Santa Cruz, and I did like it here, the options, and I really wanted to double major in women's studies and some STEM major. I remember being worried kind of about the price. It was above $30,000. I didn't have any scholarship or anything there, and I really wanted to do like a law program if I was gonna go there, but there's no guarantees with their law program. I did somewhat research. I love the location, but if you're living off campus, oof, it's a steep slope, it's expensive, so I didn't see it panning out. Keep in mind, like, average rent for people that students pay is like $1,000, and as a student at Davis, I think I paid like $450. So just keep that in mind. I mean, it's these are things you kind of have to evaluate and realize. Sacramento does have a lower cost of living than Santa Cruz, which is in the Bay Area, so gotta think about these things. The next school I applied to was Irvine. I did get in here. I think I got waitlisted at first, and yeah, that was interesting. I was not planning to go there at first. I had I'd written like why I should not be waitlisted, blah blah blah. I think I wrote an essay to them about that. I wrote for Davis too, and I was just like, whatever. I don't see it panning out. It is what it is. And I ended up getting off the wait list, but I got off the wait list for Davis first, and I ended up putting a deposit for them because I was in such a freaking hurry. And I was like, okay, it's fine. I don't know, like, I had finally just like told my brain, like, yes, Davis is great, you're gonna be happy, when Irvine was like, yeah, you're off the wait list. And I was like, no, I just reasoned this with myself. I'm gonna be happy at Davis. Bye SoCal. So yeah, I also think that Irvine's gonna be expensive to live at. Definitely was gonna need a car. The other school I applied to was UCLA. I got straight up rejected, as expected. Didn't have the grades, didn't have the extracurriculars, didn't have the anything. So it is what it is. I applied for a STEM major when my STEM grades were so bad. I got a C in like most of my STEM classes. I got one in bio, I got one in chemistry. Like, yeah, it's not good. I'm forgetting the class I got C's. I definitely got a C in bio though. And I was applying for some sort of bio major, so that did not look good for me. The other two schools I applied to, both reached, were Johns Hopkins and Duke. I got waitlisted at Johns Hopkins, but I never got off the waitlist, so I don't even think I deserved to get waitlisted there, to be honest. I didn't, like I said, have the grades, extracurriculars, or anything, so, but it's okay. It didn't end up panning out, so it is what it is. I also applied to Duke. Didn't visit, didn't do much, had an interview, it was fun. Yeah, just kind of didn't expect that one to work out, and I got rejected, so it is what it is. Some of the major schools that I kind of regret not applying to, just because I was kind of narrow-minded. I insisted that even if I got in, I would not go there. I don't know why I'm like this, but Berkeley, UC San Diego, UC Santa Barbara. Yeah, I really wish I had applied to all the UCs because I didn't realize how much cheaper their tuition was. I should have looked cost into more of these things, and yeah, and I think I would have been more likely to get in to those in-state schools. I don't know why. I just limited my options so much, but it is what it is. It's in the past. I'm really happy I go to Davis. I love it there. I can still have regrets about the past though. So I wasn't able to find any of my decisions, like my reactions, but it's fine. I'm just gonna keep the title for clickbait. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, and stay tuned for my next video. Have a good day, everyone.